Hey guys, it's Sam here, and I just wanted to do this quick review, kind of initial reaction of No Time to Die, which is the latest entry in the James Bond franchise, and it is Daniel Craig's final film as James Bond. To be honest, there's not a lot that I can talk about in regards to this movie without giving away spoilers. Um, it's just one of those movies where, in order to really talk about it, I'm going to need to get into spoiler territory. Um, but with that being said, what I can say is this movie fixes a lot of issues that Spectre had, which was the last movie. It kind of picks up, uh, pretty close to where that film finished and wrapped up. So this is kind of a direct sequel. And all of Daniel Craig's Bond films have kind of interlinked with each other. They're all kind of one whole narrative. Unlike the other Bond films prior to the Craig era, where they've all kind of been solo adventures, as it were. Craig's Bond seems to be more of like a continuous storyline throughout the series. So, for those of you who like continuity in movies, this is definitely an ending to, Craig's tenure as Bond and kind of his story as James Bond overall. So if you like the continuity thing, you may like this episode. You may like this movie. If you're more of like the standalone individual Bond movies, then you're probably not a big fan of Craig to begin with. And that's just that. Um, he gives a really good performance as Bond himself, and I've always thought that he did a good job playing Bond, even in Quantum of Solace, which is largely regarded as like one of the worst Bond films. He always does a good job. I tend to find, as with most movies, it's largely dependent on the writing for this sort of thing. Um, and the writing in this movie is pretty good for the most part. Like I said, it pretty much serves kind of as like a direct sequel to Spectre, the last Bond movie, and it fixes a lot of plot issues that Spectre kind of created. And I guess it wraps things up in a way for Craig's saga. There are a few plot holes, in this movie, but none that are really glaring, and none that really distract me from the overall film. One thing that I have gotten a lot of questions on already is it woke? And to answer that, I would say no. In fact, I wouldn't really say it's not anti-woke, but it actually kind of pokes fun in some instances at some of this cancel culture stuff. And I think maybe that has to do with some of the revisions they did in the script. I think, Eon Productions actually was smart this time and maybe looked at some of the reactions to some of the trailers early on and said we have to change some things in the writing. And they did. And I think that was good. But overall, it's pretty good as far as story, line goes, and plot, which again, I really can't get into because of spoilers, and there is a lot that I want to talk to you about. As far as Lashana Lynch's character goes, Naomi, she was kind of, supposedly the Me Too 007, and a big concern was that she was going to, real politicize the thing, and she actually turned out to be fairly decent. I don't really feel like they did much with her character, and I don't really feel like she was needed necessarily for the plot, but she did okay. Um, you know, and I think maybe if they were to do maybe like spin-offs kind of in Craig's world of Bond, maybe she could do something, but I doubt that's going to happen. Um, as far as Rami Malek goes, his character, he was the villain Siphon. I feel kind of like they underused him a bit. He wasn't bad, but I kind of felt like he was underwhelming as a Bond villain. And this has kind of been a complaint with me with Craig's Bond villains. I feel like Le Chiffre in Casino Royale was really strong, and I feel like Javier Bardem's character, Silva from Skyfall, was probably one of the best Bond villains ever. But overall, I kind of feel like Craig's Bond villains have kind of been mediocre. Anna de Armas as the Bond girl, she's pretty good, but again, she's on screen for a very short amount of time. I would have liked to have seen more of her, but for what we got, she was very good. And, Leia Seydoux, I think is how you pronounce her name. I believe she's the first Bond girl to, like, make a prominent return in the series. And, she's a pretty integral part of this story, I will say that. And she does a very good job in her role. So that's always good. They do make some references to the Ian Fleming novels, which I think were very good, and I'm glad they did that. And they made references to some of the other earlier Bond movies, some from the Roger Moore era, some from the Sean Connery era, and they do bring back two of the old Aston Martins. They bring back the classic Aston Martin, the DB5 from the Connery era, and then they bring back Timothy Dalton's Aston Martin V8 from The Living Daylights, which I think is pretty cool. Really, that's about all I can say about this film without going into spoiler territory. I think if you're a Bond, fan and you've kind of been, watching these movies of Craig's from the get-go and you're somewhat familiar with how his storyline as Bond has gone, you're going to enjoy this. If you're just, if you're just walking into this movie kind of just as a casual moviegoer and you really haven't seen any of Craig's Bond films before, I don't think you're going to enjoy this because, as I said, all of Craig's Bond films kind of interlink with each other. And so if you're not really caught up with the plot of the movie, it's not going Craig's storyline, it's not going to do a lot of good for you. But overall, I would certainly give it like a B plus on kind of the scale. B plus, A minus. And the ending is, well, I really can't say a lot about the ending other than some people are going to like it, other people are going to hate it, and then there are people like me who have very mixed emotions about it. But, until we do the spoiler, filled review with Mark Hunt, which I'm going to be doing this weekend, I really don't want to talk about, much in regards to spoilers. So, if you haven't had a chance yet, go listen to my podcast that I did with Mark regarding the, kind of our expectations for this movie and kind of our thoughts on Bond overall. I'll have that linked in the description for the video of that on YouTube and for the audio podcast for that in the audio notes. And I will let you guys know when the spoiler review is posted. Hopefully that'll be sometime this weekend. But overall, folks, I want to recommend that if you like Bond at all and you've been following the Craig series, then you certainly deserve to give this one a chance. So I think that will wrap it up for now. And thank you all for watching. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Whitfield Report.